A WOW client a few years ago was very much a generalist. They were £40 an hour. And if you remember the bench press report, you'll know that that's pretty low. That's well below the average. And they really wanted to increase that. That was their motivation. They saw the data and they said, look, we don't want to be £40 an hour or more. We want to increase it. And at the time they were doing, websites for £1,500 for local businesses, and they were finding it really hard to make money, as you can imagine. What they decided to do, they decided that their passion was actually around internal comms. And they had some really good experience around internal comms. So they focused their communications around internal comms, and they went after a few specific sectors. So they found a couple of niches, but it was all built around the skill set of internal communications. And they went on this journey from being 40 to 50 to 60. And over 3 years went to, I think they're about £150 an hour now. So quite a journey from where they first started. One of the things they did along this journey was they actually saw what we did with bench press, and they thought that's a pretty neat idea, but they did it a bit smarter than we did. What they did, they ran their own survey on employee engagement. And what they decided to do was, rather than just send the survey out to their current contacts, they wanted to amplify it. So they got in touch with all the key influencers around employee engagement, all the internal comms key influencers, and they contacted them and said, we're going to run this survey. And we'd love to know, if you were going to ask a question, what question would you want to add to this survey? Because you're a person of influence. And so they all come back with their questions. And then he said, well, thanks ever so much for that. Here's the first draft of the survey. Are there any amendments, suggestions you'd like to make? So now these influencers are involved in this process. And then they said to them, look, would you mind, now your question's in there, would you mind sending it out to your contacts? So now they've got all of these people with all of their contacts, sending it out to their databases. The answers come back in. They create this amazing report. And what they do is they say, here's the version of it that we have. You'll notice we answered the question that you put in. The results are really interesting. Have you got any comments on it? We'd love to feature you in the report. So they get a whole page with their lovely smiling face talking about why that particular stat is significant. And now they're in the report. And then they say, well, here's the final version. Would you like to send it out to your followers? Feel free to. And of course, they all do. So now, not only they use them in two ways, in a really, really smart way. One is to get the initial interest of all of the people out there, and then to spread the word about the report. And through that one piece of content and the beautiful way it was executed, it completely catapulted them onto a different plane. Now, all of a sudden, people were contacting them and asking for their opinions. It changed everything for them.